All right. Good morning, everybody. Let's get started. This is our third monthly meeting for Guru Nanak Dev Global University. This is being recorded for all the members who are unable to be present and will be available tomorrow in our group. So the agenda that we want to cover today is first we'll go over the highlights of July 2023. We'll talk about our upcoming Pulse of August, webinar of August. We'll dive deep into the Center of Excellence that we have done a lot of work, the Semiconductor Nano Nexus. We'll talk about the upcoming World Punjabi Convention in 2024, land strategy. And let me enter people as they are also joining. And then the targets for this month. Okay. Just give me 1 second. There are people in the waiting room. Anilji, next time I will also make you the host. So anybody entering the waiting room, you could take the lead of letting them inside the Zoom. Yeah, okay. So just going over the highlights of July 2023. First of all, our vision mission has been complete. I would like to read the vision statement again. To transform students into global leaders through the power of inspired learning and self-development for positive social impact. That's the vision. We also have the mission statement. We also have the 17 sustainable development goals that we have defined. All of those are available for folks who are just joining on our website. So I'll keep referring to our website also, which has, so we have become already the first university in the world where our all the goals are aligned to the UNESCO's Sustainable Development Goals. In each one of those, you will see on the page, each goal, we have defined which of the UNESCO goals is aligned to it. So what we are doing now next is taking each of our goals and building center of excellences around it. We identified 9 center of excellences where we will start to work, and we will talk about one of the center of excellence today. Coming to next, logo and high level colors for branding are all defined. Logo has been finalized. The Pulse logo also has been finalized, which is our monthly journal. So that was a big achievement also. Coming further, we identified the Center of Excellences, which is all done for initial 9 Center of Excellences. You would be very happy to know that our first volume of Pulse was launched. It is available worldwide. I'm going to just, I have received the copy here. If you guys can see my camera, it has come wonderfully. It is available at a very low cost of $4.99 or $5, something like that, on Amazon. Please, all your photographs of the founding members, the advisory board, the development team, everybody's photographs is there. It's an amazing. So I feel very good holding this first Pulse volume. Coming back, so that was a big achievement for the month. Second, coming to, we hosted our first webinar on mental wellness. Dr. Benjamin Miller and Dr. Madhukar Trivedi, who is the head of mental health at UNT. These were the speakers for our first webinar. Dr. Anil was the host for the webinar. So excellent. It was very well received. In fact, the recorded version has already been seen by more than 1,000 people. So I think these webinars are adding a lot of value to our journey. Coming forward, I would like to welcome our two new members. Jim Koski, it's in fact, I owe a lot of my life journey to him. He's the person who gave my first job to me in field of semiconductor. Jim, welcome to Guru Nanak Dev Global University. And the other person is Ravi Nagar, who has immense experience in healthcare sectors, in policy development and sustainability. Ravi is based out of San Diego, and Jim is based out of Boston area. So Ravi ji, welcome to you.
Yeah, thank you, Baljit. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great initiative. Really applaud all your efforts. Really look forward to participating. I am involved with the Medical Device Innovation Consortium. Currently, I'm the industry chair. We're doing some really good work in supply chain resilience. We're doing some pretty good work in the area of health equity. And so I look forward to contributing in whatever meaningful way I can to this particular initiative.
Excellent. Thank you. Jim, welcome to you also to our Guru Nanak Dev Global University team.
Yeah, thank you so much, Baljit, for the opportunity to work with such an esteemed group of individuals. It's my honor to be able to offer my insight, my support, any way that I can help. As Baljit has mentioned, and it's in my bio, I was in the semiconductor for 35 years, received a degree from electrical engineering. Baljit and I have worked together in several areas over the years, and so it's not the first time that we've collaborated on something. A few years ago, I decided to start a private practice as a consultant and an executive coach, focusing primarily on professional and personal development. And so I've been building that practice over the last 5 years, and besides my affiliation with Guru Nanak Dev Global University, I'm also developing professional programs with the Knowles Johnson Institute for Graduate Studies, and I am enrolled as a PhD candidate in that program. And I work with individuals, and I work with groups, work with student cohorts. And so, yeah, this has been my career for the last 5 years as an executive coach. And again, very honored and humbled to be able to participate and support this worthy effort.
Thank you, Jim. Let's continue. So what we are planning to do is, as you can see, our webinars are becoming a place where we are not only sharing the wealth of knowledge, but also launching our Pulse magazine. Our first Pulse magazine was launched on our first webinar. So the first magazine of Pulse was all about our vision, mission, and the entire team. So volume 2 is going to be launched on our next webinar. So Pulse of August, which is on mental health. So the webinar becomes the precursor to the magazine, the journal. So the August issue, volume 2, we're still finalizing the cover of it. We already have received about more than 10 articles for this from different professors, individuals across. So volume 2 will be launched on the webinar of month of August. So the webinar for August, which is scheduled for August 27th, is going to be on women empowerment. We have 2 speakers already aligned for this webinar. Bidisha Rudra she is the senior director at Eslor, which is a company that makes eyeglasses. She's based out of Dallas. Pooja Arabam is a co-founder of IIV Health Solutions. She's based out of Mumbai. We are planning to have maybe 1 or 2 more speakers. And this webinar, in fact, Anilji, usually Dr. Anil Kapoor is our person who's going to host it. But since this is going to be a women empowerment, together with Anilji, we were thinking that we should have a woman host the webinar too. So we will identify the person who will host the webinar. Coming to, we're going to discuss quite a lot today. So I'm going to pause here. Any inputs, any suggestions on our achievements or changes, suggestions do you want to give for our activities for month of July?
Well, it is, I think we started with a bang, and full credit goes to the way it has been steered by you. I think we should maintain this tempo. We're going to have a seminar, we're going to have a launch. We've had this meeting today. I think we're going to discuss one center of excellence today. We can also lay the foundation for the next center of excellence that we'll discuss, so that we can allocate responsibilities. You've given me one responsibility already, and I think by next meeting I should be ready to throw some light on the environment and sustainability related center of excellence that we are looking at.
Yeah.
So energy, environment, sustainability. So that will be the next one. And I think what we can also do is we can start putting together our teams, because you've also identified who would be responsible by and large for which all subject. So we could look at a team of subject matter experts who could actually start putting together, and maybe we can increase the frequency of our interactions based on the subject. So this month onward, if you agree, maybe we can give ourselves this month for preparation, and from next month we could have 2 meetings in September, primarily focusing one on the generalities, the way we talk now, covering the larger landscape, and one focused onto a couple of centers of excellence and departments that we want to host, so that we can start focusing on our way forward, because I think June next year is not very far if we were to look at it from the amount of activities that have to happen. So that is my suggestion.
No, excellent. This is great input. What we will do is we'll start creating sub teams. Our goal that we have put forward is to finalize one center of excellence every month moving forward. So by June of next year, I think we should be well under with all the 9 center of excellence, all the departments and courses that are underneath each one of them. So I think having one per month is a good target, and we will have sub group members like you suggested. We'll get started on that. So the second meeting in that month could be only that sub team who is contributing to the center of excellence. Yeah.
Excuse me, Baljeet.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, is there a plan to post replays of the webinars on the website?
So the webinars are available on our website.
They are.
They're already, so they are all recorded, and even these meetings are available.
Okay.
These meetings are not available to everybody because this is only to the team members, but the webinars are available for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just probably looking in the wrong place then. All right.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Any other suggestions? If not, we'll move forward. Good. So today we're going to discuss more in detail about our first center of excellence. I had already sent the details in advance for everybody to review, but we'll quickly go over this and take everybody's inputs. So semiconductor nano nexus. So first of all, we've kind of put together the name itself. N2 nano, it's a club of 2 things, multiple things all under one umbrella. So semiconductor is a focus, nano is focus, and nexus is where you have multiple agendas all together. So semiconductor N2 is, and we're going to think about a logo for this Center of Excellence also. There are multiple objectives of forming this Center of Excellence. So we'll go over each objective. The first is advancing the nanomaterial research. So nanomaterials is materials that are being used across in many fields. But if you primarily, I'll go over the materials also shortly. If you primarily focus on materials that are in semiconductor and batteries, you will address a lot of other industries that are around it. So advancing nanomaterials research. The second is process characterization and optimization. The third objective is testing and quality assurance for semiconductor devices. Skill development and training is another objective. Collaborative research and industry partnerships. Technology transfer and commercialization. Promoting sustainable nanomaterials and semiconductor practices, outreach and awareness. So these are 7 objectives that we have defined for the Center of Excellence. We went further and defined the materials. So there are materials that we have identified which are going to be the lighthouses of research work. Under semiconductor materials, SOI, high-K dielectrics, FinFETs, 3,5 compound, high mobility substrates, 2D materials, strained silicon, quantum dots, provost circuit solar cells, organic semiconductors, nanowires. So there are 12 semiconductor materials. And under batteries, it is lithium-ion batteries, solid state, lithium sulfur, sodium ion, silicon anodes, high nickel cathodes, metal air, redox flow, sustainable environment materials. These go, so if you look at, if we kind of do make these lighthouses of our research work, we will address a lot of industries around any nanomaterials that needs to be focused on. Now, looking at the objectives under the Center of Excellences, we have identified the departments: the Department of Nanomaterial Synthesis and Characterization, Department of Nanoelectronics and Nanophotonics, Department of Nanomaterials for Energy Applications, Department of Nanomaterials for Biomedical Applications, Department of Process Characterization and Testing. So there are 5 departments which are identified as a standalone departments. And then there are 3 departments which essentially will be part of all the Center of Excellences. So you can think about there are 5 core departments, and the other departments are supporting all the Center of Excellences. In fact, we will keep on adding, we can call these foundation departments also, because they are applicable to all Center of Excellences. In this, we will have addition of departments like music, we'll have addition of departments like history, language. So these departments become foundation block of the university. The thought process that we are moving again is core departments and the foundation departments. And foundations, we have just highlighted 3 right now. More will be added further. What we did further is what degrees in these each departments will be added. So under each department, you will see there is an associate, bachelor's, master's, and PhD. So each one we are defining. I'll go over the inputs also shortly that I have received. So each department that we talk about has associate, bachelor's, master's, and PhD. I will not. So keep going further. So all the 8 departments has 4 degrees. Now, we'll talk about the core courses. So each department, we have also identified core courses that a student will have to do. So for example, a Department of Nanomaterial Synthesis and Characterization has introduction to nanotechnology, nanomaterial synthesis techniques, characterization of nanomaterials, nanomaterial fabrication and manufacturing, nanoscale physics and chemistry, nanomaterials in electronics and optoelectronics, nanomaterials in energy applications, nanomaterials in biomedical engineering, nanomaterials in safety and ethics. So these are the courses, these are the core courses that a student will have to take under this department. Similarly, for each, we have defined the core courses. About, I would say there are about 7 to 9 core courses that we have done in each. So these are for energy applications, intro to energy, storages, fuel cells, sustainable energy, water purification, and environmental remediation core courses. There are close to 9 courses in this also. Then nanomaterials and biomedical applications. There are close to about 9 courses in these also. Process characterization, I think there are 8 in this. So each, like I said, has 7 to 9 of these. Department of Education and Training, Department of Technology Transfer and Commercialization. So these are, we have done till the courses now. Now next is looking at the degree, whether it is a bachelor degree or a associate or master's. We will have to see how many of these, like Introduction to Nanotechnology 1, Introduction to Nanotechnology 2, how much we have to spread out. So that is something we will define, but the next level into each one of this is going one level deeper into what will be taught in each one of these courses is what we tend to finish. I'll talk about 2 inputs that has been received. One is, in fact, that has come from a few industry folks. We are talking with SEMI. SEMI is an organization in semiconductor of a consortium of all major companies, and we are also talking with RIT. They are going to be our partners moving forward. We are defining the shape and form of our partnership. With SEMI and RIT, we are defining online courses for each one of this. So in our partnership, we will be offering online courses which will complement SEMI University also. The input that has been received from them is we should also think students of K-12. So when a student is in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, we should introduce modules for those students. That was one feedback. The second feedback has come is, in fact, Dr. Daljit has given. He has mentioned that we should also include in our foundation courses cyber security. So along with the other courses, is Dr. Daljit here? Maybe we can pause and take his inputs. Hanji, the floor is open now to everybody for inputs, suggestions on this.
Yeah, Baljit, I have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Krish.
Yeah, so what's pretty interesting and important is you're focusing on degrees at the lower level all the way up to PhD, right? Which is very important. As a young engineer, I used to run a group of 7 quality control engineers, right? They were diploma holders in semiconductor manufacturing. They have no idea. They're fresh out of, diploma in electrical engineering or something. And there's a huge vacuum all the way from a technician level until you use the master's, because there is hardly any semiconductor program which addresses the need. So I think it's a great idea. I haven't seen anything like this, going from the technician operator level all the way to PhD.
No, excellent. Thank you. I think, Krish, I love the idea of by Sami that we should focus on K-12 schools.
I think so.
High
Yep.
schools, because skill development is a major issue globally.
Yes.
So we're trying to see how we can address that.
Right. As I mentioned earlier, probably privately, that I was running a skill development platform for semiconductor and electrical engineering in the US, and it didn't take off because of the COVID, right? So I got the template of doing all that. We'll slowly implement as we go and we discuss. Yep.
Good.
Quick question, Baljeet.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, so as a global university, I'm sure perhaps you gentlemen have spoken about this before, but in terms of certifications and accreditation and applicability in the US, and since it's a global university, it's across state boundaries. Is there any governing body or is there something that you have considered that the university needs to do to be able to ensure that those programs are properly certified and recognized?
That's a good question, Jim. So there, I'll talk about both sides, India and US. Guru Nanak Dev Global University is starting from Dallas. So we have to follow the US norms. Under the US norms, you will be happy to know that we have already got the SAM registration. That is the first step. Now, second step is the Higher Secondary Education Board, which is a state level certification accreditation that we have to get, which can be only taken up when we have a space. So we need to have our next step is within next 2 months. We will have an office for the university in DFW area. We are also in the pursuit of land of 20 acres. We are looking at either a bare land or already an established buildings somewhere where we will have ample of opportunity to improve for the university. So those are, once we have our first step is that office in next 2 months. Once we have that office, we can go and apply for the Higher Secondary Education Board certification. So that is from the US side. Now from the India side, our strategy is slightly different. We are applying for what is called semiconductor program subsidy, which is by the central government. Our proposal is targeted to be submitted by October of this year. It is a $500 million investment plan over 10 years. The first 5 years is about 250 million. In that, you will be happy to know that we have already in discussions with several existing university in India. So we are planning to build under the same center of excellence, Semiconductor Nano Nexus Park. It'll be a 10 acres of land over there within an existing university campus. So we are talking to 3 universities right now. The way that this agreement with them is structured, that they will be responsible of giving the land and building the R&D center. We, along with our partners, will bring in the equipment. And we don't have to bring all the equipment at the same time. It'll be in different phases. Now, industry partners, we have, first is technology partners. So in that proposal, RIT is going to be our technology partner. The industry partner, we are talking to 3 companies, which are one out of US and 2 out of Germany at this stage, which has really shown a lot of interest in the R&D center over there. So I think all this is, so from India perspective, since the university is already an existing running university, so we are okay on that.
Fantastic.
We're making good progress. So I wanted to share everybody is, let me open up. I just opened up 2 more documents. So what we are trying with RIT is pretty amazing. For a semiconductor, we are coming up with online training programs. For example, this is focused more on silicon extraction, silica to sand, and silica to sand will have multiple modules. So this will be a background like extraction, ingot, slicing, smoothing, polishing, cleaning. These are the 6 major steps. And what we're trying to do is come up with animated short modules. So the first episode is just on the silicon extraction. We are down to writing the script of it, how this will be done. This.
Aljit, may I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was my first job, extracting. From ferrosilicon, we used to make silicon, polysilicon, and monosilicon ingots. That's what I was running. So we'll talk offline. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Thank
So
you.
this is one work that is happening, which we are already starting to see how this will work, and then focusing on who is the target audience. So we are trying to build for process engineers, equipment engineers, product engineers. So we have defined quite details in each one of them for this. So RIT and SEMI, we are right now in the midst of finalizing how our partnership would look like. RIT is pretty, I would say 99% we have already signed an agreement with them for microelectronics, semiconductor as cybersecurity. But this for videos, we are in the midst of signing. For online degree courses, we are in the midst of signing. And same thing is with SEMI, we are in discussions. Now, on the other side, you would be happy to know that a large organization, which I will not name right now, has come to us that they are in need of 2,000 staff members in India by 2025. So they want us to come up with how we are going to train 2,000 people by 2025. Some of them at all different levels, from operating to the process engineers. So it's pretty exciting how all this is all coming together. So any other input, suggestions on the Center of Excellence that I've shared? Okay.
Yeah, Baljiji, can I come in for a moment?
Hanji sir, Hanji, I was looking for you.
Yeah, certainly. I joined late actually. One of the things that I mentioned was that FICCI, which is the Federation of Industries in India, conducts an annual risk survey. And one of the surprising findings this year's risk survey, they call it the new age risks, was that the highest risk perceived by industry, and would apply to your semiconductor research center also, is theft or compromise of the intellectual property rights. It used to be cybersecurity, but this year, cybersecurity has receded to number 2, and IPRs have become a more significant risk. To that extent, I had suggested that since many of our scientists or our students will not be as much aware of their IPRs and how to protect or save them as the center department we set for technology transfer and collaboration. So they should actively work not only for generation of IPRs, but for protection of IPRs and to ensure that our IPRs are not misused anywhere. This will require a high degree of awareness. That's one important thing. Somebody mentioned about the degree validity in India and USA. A US BTech degree, by and large, is accepted in India. If you give a BTech degree there, you need an equivalence certificate, which is granted by the Indian Embassy routinely for US degrees. US high school degrees are also accepted more or less. Under the Washington Accord, AICTE approved degrees are accepted in USA also. So engineering degrees will not face a problem. As far as private sector employment is concerned, your people trained, whether they are trained in Dallas or here, will find acceptability. For government jobs, some approvals may be required, but not at the BTech level. Those approvals are almost automatic, so there should be no problem. But I would certainly like to emphasize that IPRs are important. The risk for IPRs being misused is becoming very grave and a great concern, and it should be taken care of. Apart from creating awareness in your scientists, and you'll have a large bunch of scientists working, a special group looking at IPRs, protecting the IPRs, and generating the IPRs. That is important. But overall, a very good program, a very good process that we are following for the Semiconductor Center in India under what is called the PLI scheme. The grants are under PLI scheme, which is Production Linked Incentive. There's already a lot of competition. I'd suggest that we move fast on that. Top companies, Micron, Intel, Foxconn, many others, they are already at multiple stage levels of discussion with the government of India. Each application has to be processed separately. So if you've identified the universities, maybe it's time to start interacting with the government of India also with your proposal, because this proposal has to be approved before we start investing money in the Indian sector. So it's very, very important. The guidelines keep changing. They've recently been modified. Please have a look at the latest guidelines and see that we proceed fast enough to be a partner or a party for these incentives, because there is too much competition.
No, very good inputs, sir. So thank you. Can you just think, so we identified the Department of Collaborative Research and Industry Partnership. In that, we talk about data sharing and collaboration ethics. Is there anything further? So these are the core courses under that department.
Yeah,
So
I had made a small mention on data sharing and collaboration ethics also. Because yes, collaboration ethics when we are teaching our students are very important. But in the real world, you cannot rely on ethics alone. We'll have to teach our students and for our collaboration department to have certain non-disclosure agreements before they start discussing data sharing, to have agreements for preventing misuse of data, no unauthorized use of data. All these legal documents are easily available. In fact, an interesting thing is one of my students 50 years ago, when I went for my PhD to a US university, the emphasis was on publications. Today, when a student goes to that university, the first thing they ask him to do is to have an IPR sharing agreement. But the IPRs will not be the property of the student. They are the institute, the funding agency, and to some extent the research workers. Similarly, they have a non-disclosure agreement that you cannot disclose what you learned during the course of this work in the public domain unless it's approved. This was the norm 3 years ago, and many of the scientists that we are dealing with may have come from that regime, which was a publish or perish regime. Therefore, the incentive, the natural impulses that if I achieve something, I want to put it in the public domain. is no longer the way. In fact, I've been lecturing on 2 areas to students on critical thinking and on IPRs. And my IPR lecture starts with a quote, Guru Shiksha Bantata hai, Bechta nahi. This was what the ancient rishis did. There's a cross on that, and beneath that, I say, knowledge today is a commercial commodity. It is a saleable thing, and protect your rights and make sure you get the right value for your knowledge. Even here, I would suggest when your proposals are finalized, perhaps a copyright of your proposals would be a good idea. It doesn't take too much time, but it ensures that what we are putting here is protected as a right of the Guru Nanak Dev University or whatever. And so it is imperative that we remain aware that our primary focus in the R&D center will be creating IPRs. And our Center for Collaborative Research and Industrial Partnerships must protect those IPRs, must know where to commercialize them, and make sure that they get into the right kind of deals when they do this. Another thought that came to my mind after I sent you the mail, Baljiji, if I can take 1 minute.
Yeah, sure, sir.
I'm hearing a lot these days about the application of AI in semiconductor processing and nanomaterials. I haven't studied that in detail, but perhaps some of our experts in this area may apply their mind and whether it can be incorporated somewhere and whether we should incorporate, because we call it a semiconductor nano nexus. We will not put AI as part of our domain, but some application of AI will emerge and it will emerge very fast. So we should be prepared for that situation, maybe now, maybe a little later.
Yeah, in fact, we have a separate center of excellence for quantum big data AI.
Okay.
So there'll be a separate, we clubbed 3 things together. One was quantum computing, the other was big data, and the third was artificial intelligence.
Oh, right, I overlooked that.
Yeah,
Absolutely right.
We have felt that that should be a separate center of excellence by itself.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But to Dr. Singh's point is each center of excellence for each industry, the impact of AI is something that needs to be tracked and studied. Is it through the AI Center of Excellence that tracking will take place? In other words, the impact on the other industries and in terms of jobs, in terms of research, in terms of development?
Yeah, so we talked this in our last monthly call, Jim, is, we have to think about the center of excellence as cross matrix. A center of excellence of quantum big data AI is service to all center of excellences.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the cross matrix. In fact, I'll email you the last month's deck. We kind of put a grid of that also together.
Okay.
In fact, there's good discussion. I can pull up my.
And just a one other follow-on comment with what Dr. Singh was saying. In terms of intellectual property, I mean, I think, we need to make sure that we understand there's 2 dimensions there. There's the economic security associated with the development of intellectual property, but there's the national security dimension as well, to be able to maintain control of critical technologies that might come through the research arm of the global university, which, I think, that's just something that I think we need to be aware of, that there are those two separate dimensions to that issue.
That's good. Well put together. In fact,
Aljit, may I say a few things?
Sure.
Okay. So the intellectual is such a big deal. Being part of industry-wide litigation.
You're breaking up, Krish. We can't hear you. Krish?
Okay, till Krish comes in, Baljit, I'd like to say that we may include something on electronics manufacturing also.
So it's certain that everybody knows about it and mean it.
Because today, software on chip is very much part of electronics manufacturing, and like Dr. Daljit also brought out, this is a hot topic. And I was recently attending a seminar on electronics manufacturing, and they have already started talking of software on chips, moving ahead to software on platforms. That means you create a platform of chips and look at the software on platforms as an extension to software on chips, looking at from the perspective of electronics manufacturing. And I mean, they were talking about software-defined vehicles. We've heard of software-defined radios, but now they've started talking of software-defined vehicles with the sensor, IoT, and electronic control units, which have got a regional existence controlled by a central processing unit, and everything is actually controlled by central software, which handles big data, AI for condition-based monitoring, and is a major subset of electronics manufacturing of tomorrow. So that may be something of interest to everybody who actually gets into both nano and semiconductor. So we may package electronics manufacturing as part of our practitioners package for all the courses.
No, good, good. Krish, you was, we couldn't hear anything what you just said early on.
Yeah, 1 second. There are 3 bullet points. One is awareness of the IP rights. Second is protecting them. Third is how to get the economic value for your IP. I was saying that my company sued industry-wide for $5 million for violation of IP we had taken from the Ivy League. But what happened was one professor had published an article in public domain that reduced our $500 million to $140 million. So I'm just saying whatever things I've said, that is very important. Yeah. Thanks.
I think a very important point you made, that we are inclined always to publish. And in the process, there's a loss of the value of the IP rights. And that's why I want the technology collaboration department to make people aware and make sure that our IP rights, which is our primary activity in the R&D center, are protected and they are economically, commercially viable and utilized properly.
Mhm.
But
No,
your point is excellently well taken, I think.
Yeah, no, excellent. These are very valuable points. So this was the grid. As we are building the center of excellence, I think this is a good reference grid that I'll include this in all of our documents. And this we will refine as we kind of build each center of excellence. So how you can think about it's a cross matrix. The quantum, big data, and AI is the center of excellence, which is essentially applicable to all across center of excellences. So this way you can see it is applicable to all. And we'll keep on refining this table as we move further. Yeah. Any other inputs? Okay, let's move further. This was the other last meeting. I'll go to my other slide. Now, these are very valuable inputs that everybody is giving. Happened to my other file. Jim, I think what we will do is, Chris, Jim, Dr. Daljit, I think 3 of you, if you could take one step further into the center of excellence that we have defined for semiconductor nano nexus. If you could kind of I'll incorporate the inputs that we have received if three of you could take a closer look at this by next month's meeting, then we can freeze this. Yeah. Let's go to our next. I wanted to talk a little bit about our World Punjabi Convention that's happening. We are slowly kind of working on finalizing the details. So this is a high-level agenda. We are right now formalizing the venue for this. Our day one, which is Thursday, June 20th, will be the opening ceremony in the first half, followed by langar at one of the Sikh religious temple. We are talking to two of them. We'll finalize with one. Then in the afternoon, post the break, we are planning a Dallas tour for all the international delegates. So that's only for the day one. The conference will start on day two. In the both the 2 days, we have kept 3 sessions per day. So 10 to 12, session 1, which is on celebrating art, culture, and heritage. Session 2, empowering youth for global success. Session 3, strengthening identity and community integration. And then followed by in the evening, dinner and cultural programs. Day 2 of the conference, day 3 of the convention, we'll have session 4, entrepreneurship and innovation. 5, promoting language and culture in digital age. 6 is we are going to make it non-generic. So we're going to keep it preserving history and language, kind of making it a global umbrella, how different religions should look into preserving history and language. And then followed with summary and action, followed by final dinner and culture program for all the delegates. So this is the 3-day program, which is in June of next year. We have, for the international delegates, we have included a very nominal fee. There is no fee for local people. So any international delegates that are looking for these service, we have included, like, for example, pick up and drop at the airport, free stay if they opt at a local. So what we have done is we have reached out to the DFW community. So anybody who's coming from overseas, be it US, Canada, India, Europe, they can have 2 options of stay. One is they can say that I want to stay at a hotel. If they select that they want to stay at hotel, they will have to pay directly. But if they opt to stay with their family in DFW, it's free. It's included in this. So Dallas Fort Worth tour is included on day 1. All the conference fee, food from day 2, day 3, any visa application support that's needed. But it does not include any of their international travels. It does not include if they opt for hotel stay or any visa fee. So any suggestions? I'll pause here on World Punjabi Convention that we are targeting.
I had just one point, Baljit, this was that if 21st June happens to be part of the date, which I think it is for the moment, we should plan, it being an International Yoga Day, we should factor it into our program to have a yoga session in the morning, just to be in tune with the, should I say, the physical fitness, which is also one of our core values of the global university. So I was of the view that we could actually build in a little bit of yoga on Yoga Day, maybe a little talk on mental wellness or mental health through yoga, and a session of physical yoga.
No, excellent. These are both very good inputs. We'll include any other inputs.
Just a question, from a positioning, marketing perspective, what is the objective of this convention? What are you trying to achieve? What are the measurables? What's the intent? That type of thing. I'm sure you guys have talked about it. I'm just ignorant, and I just want to understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, two things, Jim, we are doing. One is these webinars that we're hosting on monthly basis is a precursor and a soft marketing of the university. So every month we talk about in these webinar about the university. We talk about the World Convention Centers. So we have put a date of June 20th for two things. So one is a launch of the university. So we will be launching the university for online courses on 20th. So our goal is to start offering online certification courses. The university, we are hoping the land purchase will be done by then. So it becomes an official inauguration of the university with the online modules.
Okay.
So that is the goalpost that we're working towards.
Hey, Baljit, it's Ravi. So
Yeah.
from even from a marketing perspective and just attracting, people to this, you may want to consider this to actually be the global GNDU convention. And that way you'll invite not just the Punjabi community, but anyone that's interested in any of the offerings the university has. Of course, we can have, there's going to be a cultural aspect to this that will definitely have strong overtones, and that's great. But if you label it the way it's labeled, you might limit the audience somewhat.
I very good input. In fact, let me think, how do we change the name? I think it's a very valuable input because our goal is to, it's a global and it is an excellence of different academias coming together. So, I love the input. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for that. Was a bit of a clarification for where I was going. I just wanted to try to understand, because if the objective is the launch of the global universities, there's also a celebration there of the Punjabi and Indian diaspora and the culture associated with it, and so I want to make sure that the identity that this event, which has a lot of potential, and it's big, and we want to attract a lot of people to this for promotional reasons, that it doesn't have an identity crisis, to the gentleman's point. So yeah, I think that makes
this is all evolving. I love, this is where all the inputs that are very valuable when you're so close to all these activities, one misses this. So having people, individuals of high experience like you all is very valuable.
Well, thank you for the nice compliment.
Thank you.
No, I think it's really exciting. I mean, when I first read it, I said, "Oh, this is going to be a convention in India," but then I see it's Dallas Fort Worth, so I think it just needs a little bit of work in terms of the marketing, but it has so much potential. So, anyways, thanks, Belgi.
Excellent. So what we will do is we'll refine this. I think Jim and Ravi, I'll make you guys to clean this further. I'll do the first draft and send it to you guys for inputs.
Okay. Sure. Glad to help.
Good. Any other inputs?
Just taking a look at the clock here. How much?
No, I think we're pretty much done. We tend to kind of keep this maximum 1 hour 15 minutes. So another 5 minutes, we should be done. So the other two topics in the agenda, I don't have any slides, but these are verbal. we want to come up with, I want to give you an update on the land status. So there are 3 land parcels where we have identified. We are kind of looking at, because these are 20-acre plus land parcels, we are kind of evaluating which ones that we need to focus our energy and effort based upon the flood zones that these are in. So if any of the land parcel has 25% or above in flood zone, we are rejecting it because of a lot of other approvals that we might need to go get into. The second is we are also looking at any existing buildings or structure that is out there. That would be our first preference rather than bare land. So those 2 are happening. So that is from the land perspective. Our goal right now is by beginning of October, we will have an office, small office of the university all finalized. After that, we will apply for the accreditation that are needed at a state level. So our goal is to have all the application done by October for the university accreditation, at least applied, and it will take about easily 3 months for the approvals. Now, the other target, so we need to kind of define what are the targets for the month. So first is we need to finalize the Center of Excellence for the Semiconductor Nano Nexus. That is our target, number 1. Number 2 is a World Punjabi Convention has to be relooked at so that it has a global appeal. Third is we're going to pick one other center of excellence. Dr. Anil Kapoor is going to present that next month's meeting, and I'll work with him on that. Which one was that, Dr. Anilji?
It was on energy, environment, sustainability.
Okay, yeah, we talked briefly about it in the last month. So
Yeah.
we'll work on that.
To go through it maybe bilaterally, I'll engage with you and maybe with Dr. Daljit also. He had given some very nice suggestions.
I would be glad to help on that. It's my area of research anyway.
Fix a little VC together on this and then put our thoughts together on the table and spell out the center of excellence and departments that we wish.
Good.
Yeah,
So
yeah, feel free to lean on me also for any inputs you want in this area. I did my PhD in public health and have worked in the area for several years and sustainability and now in quality. So
Happy to do that.
Great.
For sure.
Good, excellent. Good. Any other suggestions before we close?
Brilliant. That's it. Brilliant.
Can you provide coffee and donuts for the next meeting, please?
Virtual coffee and donuts.
Definitely, we will do that. Virtual will come to you.
So that should be your last slide.
Yeah, last slide. I love it. Well, again, thank you everybody from the bottom of my heart. It's an amazing journey that we are all unfolding. Thank you all for your valuable inputs, suggestions, and looking forward towards a successful launch of the university. I always get up with the dream, and the dream is opening on June 20th.
well, today is your birthday, so it's a great day for having that dream.
Thank you. Thank
Happy
you,
birthday,
everybody.
Baljit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Happy birthday and thank you.
Good to be, really wonderful to meet you all. Take care.
Wonderful meeting. Great
Thank
weekend.
you. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.